really, really who are buddies for. One of the things I remember.
I forgot to mute everything before I started this. So I'm gonna have to mute this video. Yep. Words. Alrighty then.
Follow me. Sorry about the whole gun thing.
Don't worry. I would have probably done the same thing. Where are you from?
All the way from Hartford.
Really? I heard some bad stuff going on down there.
Yeah, the military abandoned the zone. That's why we left. The place probably looks like this by now. We gotta be careful. We're right next to one of their lookout areas.
Alright, I changed my mind because I'm always multitasking, but this time I'm extra multitasking. I have the backbone here and the phone playing something else, and YouTube up on the Surface, Twitch up on this really ancient old iPad that I repaired. Yep, just putting my brain in the fryer. And there's a couple good new shows because I watch literally everything. It feels like everything that is good. I watch. I feel like rarely do I miss something. Um, and there's an anime I like that a new anime. I don't know if it's new, but it's new to Netflix. I didn't look that much into it. It's called Zom 100. I tried to watch the live action one. I couldn't watch that one. I couldn't finish it. I started it. Um, there's a bunch of shows, and I think returning. I think most shows are returning in February. I think January is going to be a lackluster month for the most part when it comes to probably just about everything. I don't know when the hell American Horror Story returns. I've always watched that. There's uh, The Walking Dead that's returning. The with Rick Grimes and Michonne. Uh, and yeah, and plus I write on the side and sometimes do other things like drawing and shit. But and there won't be any like trip or travel content for me at all until spring because I'm putting all that off. Um, just because of hell type stuff. Got hell shit to deal with, and I don't know what else am I missing. I'm trying to put myself out there, I guess. Um, Not that anyone will fucking listen to this, because probably even if you heard and then I pause and stop, but whatever. Yeah, kind of just fucking sitting here, multitasking. I'm actually not doing anything really productive at all at the moment, but I go back and work on certain things that I have in my head still to this day that is my own stuff. I try not to get, work on other people's stuff because it's a bit annoying. And I also am obsessed with knowledge, so sometimes I get distracted and treat things like a puzzle. So I'm gonna go down fucking rabbit holes constantly with everything until the point I'm lost. And yeah, like a real life frying pan. Put my brain in the damn frying pan. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Um, Whatever happens, happens. And then from there, yeah, feels mostly tragic, just a sense, but survivable. Like the type of tragedy that you don't really want to survive, but at the same time you do. So it's just like naturally it just comes, but effortlessly. Um, Visions, still into that stuff. Uh, Dabbling in a lot of things, puzzle solving, writing. What else am I missing? Repeating myself constantly. I haven't been drawing. I thought about getting back into that, drawing. I always end up drawing. Every time I start drawing something, it turns into something weird. Like, I can't draw anything without turning it into something weird. Like monsters or symbolic signs and shit like that. And I noticed that I personally feel like my English is because I don't talk that much. And I'm like forcing myself to talk and trying to like fucking think about what I'm supposed to say. Because I usually don't talk. I can go like days without talking verbally at all. So, um, yeah. So that's probably going to shit again. and I'll probably have to put some part of my mind on that shit to try to recover that for God knows what in the future. Right now, I don't have to, but if I want to improve my life, get out of the shithole and go further, start steering, taking control again, and going wherever the hell I'm gonna go, end up. There's so much. There's too much. I feel like it's a very overwhelming. There's a lot of shit. You know, it's not like taking on. I've probably said that before, but a lot of projects, it's just like kind of like shutting things off. You walk in. This is why I rarely go to the stores. I don't like going shopping and physical shit anymore. I hate doing that. But I walk in to a store, like usually it's bookstores or you know that's more affordable because books usually are a lot more cheaper than movies or that you can just get on the click of a button. Same thing, like you do all this stuff digitally. So I don't know, but and there's just so much shit, too much, and in there's a lot of good content, and then there's my content, and then thinking some of my stuff like the mirror of your soul, which you don't read, everything, or do you read everything? It becomes way too complicated. Like when you tap into certain things, fuck, it's crazy. It's like literally putting your brain into a frying pan. Everything becomes a drug. Uh, every little thing, including your own talent, becomes a drug. Um, and then at some points, your talent can become a curse if you're not careful. Your skill base, like your endless imagination, and your creating characters and stuff. And then there's what you want to do, and then there's what you don't want to do. But then it's like what you're supposed to do, uh, which that changes constantly, keeping up with the fucking rules when they can't even keep up with the rules. I see, because they're saying they're making them, but you see, like, fucking. Then there's things I analyze and study as well, like court cases and shit that I've been seeing, like real life things with people, and all the evidence. There ain't no evidence. That's the thing. With most 95%, like quite a bit of things is just verbal activity, where there's no actual physical evidence. It's just a bunch of people talking. So it's like, you don't actually know, but there's a sense I have, I guess, and then it's like people just judge off that sense, which seems a little like thrown up there. You know what I mean? Like against like, and then who is controlling the narrative? It's like a lot like the anonymous God factor of like the fate of someone. And like I said, I'm definitely not in heaven. I'm all like residing in hell 24/7. It feels like suffering, constantly just figuring out how not to, and then realizing that I can't even go certain places without having to interact with, unfortunately, with some people that are not the greatest people to interact with that I come across. So I'm kind of like in between on being a people person and not a people person. So it's like I want to be, but I also don't brain cells to communicate with every single damn person on planet Earth. That in some cases I feel like, and I come to realize that there's a lot of different people that want to take advantage or manipulation around certain things. And and I'm just too open with my own damn art, and it's just like an all you can eat buffet when I'm verbally talking. If I go to a bar or I go somewhere, I'm like bound to to have something be taken and go somewhere else. I'm like feeding other creators. I notice this. But at the same time, when I'm not selling it, it's in a government that demands this requirement. It's like, I don't know. I have always been, where it doesn't sit well with me, the way things are ran. I just like when I see psychics and shit, and then they try to make money off it. I personally feel like that's the evilest shit on planet Earth. If you are genuinely like tapped in, which is not hard, believe it or not, for some people. For me, in my case, it's not hard to tap in, but it's hard to disconnect or to find balance in it. It can be, but when you have like a shitload of things coming in, it's very real though, and over time, there has to be the T, the T, the number 20, the crucifix, and what that represents. What it represents is, well, vampirism, sacrifice, trade. That's how I take it, at least. That's what I see. And channeling. We live in a government or in general that supports sins. You can't look anywhere without sins. And then cutting yourself from the sin. You create a sin to sell the sin or to give this sin away. It's like this trade factor, and who's gonna, it's like you just start giving away, and then the world's based off fucking money. Then you have a real problem, because then you're gonna be struggling, off of, this imprison kind of factor that you could put yourself into, or well, you don't really put yourself into. There's always someone willing to walk you to hell without anyone ever paying attention. This is a very big populated fucking world, and not everyone is on your side. New York itself reminds me constantly of like kings and queens and titles on a stage. So I can't even look in New York City without seeing, a lot of spirits. Actually, is what I usually see the most of, is spirits and demons that are in the mix. Uh, yeah, I guess that's what screams the loudest. But I do see and feel a lot of other things. But like if you talk about mind or trying to get into business, it starts to become like royalty. Like now it's like you have to reign, or be rained on, or be reigned. And there's consequences in that trade, because not everyone has good intentions. And I hate surprises. I obsess over knowledge. If I don't know, then I'm not interested. I lose a lot of interest. Or I'll, even if I am interested in what I don't know, I'm going to shut that shit down. And I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to walk away. So the odds are. And I realize that knowledge, over the years, that's what knowledge has become. It's just this damn bank of what you measure and what's measured, and there's so much, and it's like everyone coming up with this, and you have this whole scale system, people ruling people with fucking numbers, money, for example. It's evil as shit. It's extremely evil. Where you go to the roots of it, you'll find the same people who fucking make prisons, and decide the fate of people. Because money is literally made. It's literally created and distributed by those who deem it to be so. And then people will go and on that trade and suffer to give or do in different ways. And then there's a lot of celebrities. For one, I like to always remind people that it's you have a multi-millions of dollars. It's fucking literally handed to people to do certain things, but it's also selected on your value by other people. Like people do decide that on the other side. You have fans, different levels of fans. You have those who will push things into existence, will try to get things into existence, and that are a part of it and also barely a part of it. And then you have those who are just literally just viewers. I've been associated myself with, back in the past, with not doing and not pushing for something and realizing at times, like people say, maybe you should have been there at times for certain things. But it's all in the value where everything's at. Because in the past I've taken some of the credit of being one of the pushers for like Beetlejuice 2 to be made with the original actors. But did I push enough? I didn't push enough with movies like Zombieland 2, which went in a completely different direction than I was. See, when I lock my mind on different IPs that aren't mine, what I would have done would have been completely different. But for building onto things, and then some are, I really enjoy the takes, because at the end of the day, it becomes that. It becomes whose takes take, and then the numbers game comes on top of these takes, and and the stakes, how much you want to invest, how much you want to make it, have a weapon on you against you, which in some cases you want to eliminate the stakes and create a fair ground, of purity, and then some just want demons, a lot are just harboring demons, like, inside them. And it's very complicated because some people will want the people to have demons, because they can control people better with demons, and some, I'm talking about people who don't have or don't really have like the demon suffocating them, or they have something else, but they'll still benefit off the fact of other people, or they'll literally look. It's the trade of sins. It's having someone else sin so you don't have to sin, or for you to sin, so you can sin, like, if you want to. It's this whole Jesus is a character of what the hell is a sin. You're able to switch things, trade things back and forth. You have to realize the sacredness all goes to hell.
Sacred describes something that is dedicated or set.
See, this thing takes over. But it's, you have...
I'm not sure I understand.
AI getting in the way. But there's a lot, I don't know, it's too much. Everything becomes overwhelming, is what I'm saying. If I just sat in a fucking corner and just predicted the future, 90% of it would come true without even fucking doing shit. I just naturally have predicted things, and most of them come true. And some of them aren't even mine. It's like I'm receiving a vision from someone else, that I'm not creating this. So take that in as well. The God, other words, there's gods. And then there's, I don't know, I've never seen no damn almighty God. But I've seen a lot of gods, and I've seen some gods that have taken over and ran through the holy. But a lot of holy gods also are not so holy when you dig through the roots and discover. So, what the fuck God is. And surrendering to one leaves your fate and everything to that God. And then it's like, good luck. And, I challenge, or I guess, or tear, I just question the actions of gods. Something like that. While also surrendering a lot of my own abilities over, giving them away for free. Certain ideas and what people do with them. That's what I feel like, at least is what I've been doing a lot lately. It's just giving, 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 giving. And that's why, at the same time, I also notice that I'm trying to hold back from giving at the same time. Because I realize I give too much if I'm not careful. To the point I'm sleeping on the streets again. Which I'd rather not do. What that's like is absolutely, well, it depends. Because there's a naturality and then there's unnaturality. And when you're around a lot of supernaturality, then again, numbers on people's brains, the percentage chances of anything, you're fucked. You have to surrender regardless to the outcome in the end. Especially if you're in the supernatural playground, like New York City, for example, is a supernatural paranormal playground of itself. So, yeah. Very difficult. Definitely not easy. People say no wheel. People turn left, fucking listening, all these people and trolls, raining at the same time. Mixture. Some aren't, some are. It's in realizing that I am, well, mostly a loner, pretty much. Even in a kingdom. The guy that sits at the goddamn bar by himself, or in the back with a goddamn hoodie, like just naturally. And then I have to force myself to communicate. And I could be good at it, and then I could be bad at it. There's no stable, there's no steady, there ain't no stable, unless it's created. So it's a miraculous thing, but it's also a concerning thing. Like I said, you have to be careful. There is evil. And if you give too much, you might forget who the hell you're feeding or what you're feeding. The next second you're in a worse hell. Just like I said, things can be worse. And things can sure and hell be better. I'm not living my best life, but I'm also not living my worst. In fact, a lot of times I feel like I'm not even living at all. So there's no bad or good. What else? I'll tell you, I'll leave you on this note. Of the brain and between what we want, what everybody wants in this world, and then looking at the majority of the universe. And if you're going to take that on, there's sacrifices most of the time. Now, if you're selective and an individual, you can have, you know, that I don't, you know, that to me feels more like a dream. That's like letting your guard down trust or finding the perfect synchronizer that you synchronize with that, you know, balance you out so you can thrive at the same time. It's not impossible. That's what I'm saying. In other words, true love is not impossible even for me to achieve or to find or connect or mesh with, to find prosperity, you know, the love that will make me better, live my best life, and produce and more for the world with probably little to less thought, depending on, you know, how much control you want over your audience. Again, it's surrender. Again, it's trade. It's the crucifix. What if the only way home, let's say, was to be dead first? I don't know. I just, at this point, I'm brain dead, just fucking rambling. But anyway, I don't even know what the hell to say. Again, I'm just forcing myself to talk. What do I want to say? Nothing. I just want to be silent. And, I don't know, talk about magic and supernatural shit. Just brain dead. And hopefully find my, I don't know, heaven, hell, mesh, connection. I don't fucking know anymore. At this point, it feels stupid to even talk about. Whatever happens, happens. Alright, adios. And I cannot speak Spanish. I just have a bad habit of, I mean, I can barely speak English, so, but whatever. Alright, peace.